The New Jersey Devils, in their last 10 games, they're 3-7-0. So they've been really scuffling lately. I know they just made a trade over the weekend, and I'm forgetting what the trade entailed, but I did see that they made a deal. But currently on the season, they've scored 19 points. They're 9-1 on the season. So take it away, Luke.
Yeah. Again, going back to some notable transactions, I think you're just kind of pushing it in two different directions here. I mean, they got the marquee player at the deadline last year, Timo Meyer. I mean, everybody was chomping at the bits to get him. To be honest, he hasn't lived up to the bill. I mean, I think he's last I checked was either -12 or -14 plus minus since coming over to New Jersey. And it's all been the same this year. Damon Severson leaving or getting traded is a huge loss for them as well. Miles Wood leaving and signing with Colorado, and just a couple pieces here and there. Getting Curtis Lazar, getting Tyler Toffoli, those are more depth pieces. But just kind of a wish wash from on both sides there. And the numbers. There's a pretty big difference between the numbers last year and what they're looking at this year. Big drop in goals per game. They went from 5th in the league. Now they're 19th in the league. They're letting a lot more in the net. A lot more shots. Let a lot more shots on net. Less shots on net. But the power play is stellar. I mean, 36.5. And that just kind of speaks to the top end talent that this team has. The one note, and I'm sure you guys will cover it here too, but opposite to Washington, the injury bug has been big for New Jersey this year. So I'll hand it off to y'all and let you talk it out.
Kyle can make up options. Maybe I'll make up an option myself. I'm gonna buy, but I'm gonna hedge my buy a little bit. I don't have a ton of confidence, but I am going to buy in them. And it's not necessarily because of my belief in the Devils, but more so the fact that two other teams got to come out of the Metro if the Rangers keep up this pace and manage to make the playoffs as well. Two other teams at least have to come out of the Metro. I don't really believe in a lot of other teams. I have to believe with the offensive firepower the Devils have, even with their goaltending question marks, that they're going to manage to get on a win streak at some point and build up enough points over the course of a season to get into the playoffs. I'll give Jack Hughes his flowers. Dude's a top 5 player in the game. You got to feel like a guy like that is going to be able to carry the rest of his teammates, his line mates. They got Nico Hischier back now to be able to get enough points to get themselves in the playoffs. I don't know if they have the defense and the goaltending to really make a serious run, but I just can't see them missing the playoffs with the offense that they have right now.
I agree, and I'm probably buying goaltending in order to get to that spot in the playoffs where they were last year. 100% this team is going to pull it back towards the normal, which this team has high octane offense and decent defense, but plays that wide open style that they could score so many goals. I can't see them not making the playoffs, even from the position that they're in now. I'm buying.
I'm going to go ahead and buy as well. Part of that is just a little bit of bias in that over the first month of the season, I watched a bunch of Devils games and they were a lot of fun to watch. So not real astute analytical, spot there, but it's just kind of very anecdotal as far as I enjoyed watching their games, and I feel like they're going to turn it around. So I'm going to buy.
Yeah, well, let's make it 4 for 4. I'm buying too. Like John said, Nico Hischier is back in the lineup. Won 7-2 against the Sabres. This is a high octane offense. They're really good defensively as well. I think they'll figure out the goaltending. I know we like to cringe at Kira Schmid, and he might have been the best goalie in the first round of the playoffs last year, and it definitely frightened some Rangers fans, particularly in this cast for sure.
Any real goaltending options out there for them right now? Maybe a guy like UC Saros in Nashville.
I've been watching. I've been actually reading about goaltenders trades and stuff like that. And from what and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but historically, it doesn't seem like very many goaltenders are traded before like mid-December.
Yeah.
So it looks like they may have to wait a little bit still before they can even find anybody available. I mean,
yeah, no, they'll sit and wait for the deadline, and that's typically how it is. What deadline's early March this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to sit around and wait. And I think a lot of teams like to wait it out and see where they're at before they make the decision on whether they're buyers or sellers.
There was a lot of smoke in the offseason about Hellebuck, but with how good Winnipeg's played, that's not an option anymore. So
he's out. I know you mentioned Saros. I don't see Nashville trading Saros. What's interesting is over in San Jose, I know there's not a lot of good going on over there, but Mackenzie Blackwood has been pretty good for San Jose, and I think he's pretty familiar with the New Jersey landscape. So that would be an interesting move as well.